Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that one of our admin received, and the translation of that message reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as anonymous? I am a South African woman who is based in Joburg, but I do come from Mpumalanga. That is where I met a man. I met this man by chance. What had happened was that one of my uncle, the way that he passed away, people were saying that there was someone at work who had bewitched him. So after my uncle's funeral, as a family, that was when we started talking about it. We were in need of the services of a sangoma. There was one in our village whom we knew, but we wanted someone from the outside. As you know, that we believe that the sangomas from other countries, they are very powerful. As a family, we sat down and then we started looking for someone who was from the outside. Then we were told that there was this other traditional healer who stayed in another village, but he was from Zim. So this man, he uses snakes when he is assisting you. He has a big python that he is using. We then went there as a family. He took out a very big python, and this big python was looking at each and every one of us as he was busy talking to us. He told us that his ancestors had already told him that we were going to come and to consult with him, and he confirmed the fact that our uncle had been bewitched at work, but he refused to tell us the name of that person that had bewitched our uncle, saying that he did not want people to die and end up being in prison after he would have told us the man who had bewitched our uncle such that he passed away. Then when we had been assisted, he told us that he was going to do things that were going to reveal to us the person that had killed our uncle and bewitched him. And then this other man who was working with our uncle, he started to get so sick. He was having swollen legs, as well as if he was losing his mind. And then we knew that, just like what that powerful sangoma had told us with the muti that he had given all of us to bath with, and that was exactly what was taking place. The person that had bewitched our uncle and killed our uncle was the one who had now received the go back to sender charms. Life continued. I returned back to Johannesburg and I continued living my life until my husband told me that he wanted a divorce. He surprised me because I was the one who had told him that I wanted a divorce previously, and then he begged me to stay. Me and my husband, we met at university and we were working as colleagues, and then I found out that my husband, he was no longer faithful and he was mistreating me because he had a mistress somewhere else. And then I said, it is far much better that we break up. I do not want this anymore. And then my husband said, it is fine, we can have a divorce. But later on, when I wanted to process everything, that was when he begged me to stay. And yes, stayed I did with him for the sake of the family, for the sake of our kids that we had together. And to my surprise, when I returned back to Joburg after so many years, after my uncle had passed away, the man then told me that he did not want me anymore. Going through the divorce, it was quite terrible. So I did not use my emotional intelligence at that time. I just got out of the house and I returned back to my mom in Mpumalanga. Even at the place where I was working, I told them that I could not work anymore because of what had happened between me and my husband. So I left everything, Brother Nashi. I returned back with literally nothing. And by the time that things got hard, when I moved back to Johannesburg, my husband had sold some of the properties that we had gotten together, some of them that were in his name, that we were supposed to share in court because of the divorce. But I was so much heartbroken that I did not care about anything. I just said, God is going to give me a better life, better material things. I'm not going to fight with him, otherwise he will think that I am materialistic. I returned back with nothing. I started working, but it was proving to be very difficult for me to maintain the same level of lifestyle that I used to have when I was still married to my husband. Fast forward, I then met another man who was promising me, and this is what turned me to becoming a ritualist. All that I wanted was that Zim doctor, that same traditional healer who had assisted us when our uncle passed away. I returned back to him and I told him that I wanted love charms. This man then said, "Do you know that in your family, in your bloodline, a lot of your relatives, your forefathers, they used charms to be rich? Do you know that even your father, he used oil, sandawana oil, that he had gotten from Mozambique? Do you know that?" And I totally refused, and I said, no ways, my father was not a ritualist. But he told me, and I saw that some of the things that he was telling me, those were the things that he was never supposed to know about, the things that our father used to do. Brother Nashi, our father, he used to climb on top of the roof late at night looking for something on top of the roof, and no one ever knew that this was what our father used to do. When it got worse, when I was in university, my father used to stay in the ceiling. Yes, that is where he used to sleep, right there in the ceiling. And this man, he told me that my father, indeed, he was a ritualist. He had been given the sandawana oil back in Mozambique. His own father was also a ritualist, and it was in my blood to do this Izithwalo business. He then told me to buy a lady's wallet, in which I did, and I brought it to him. He told me to leave it with him, and I returned back to Johannesburg to work. Later on, he called me. I returned back to Mpumalanga, and he gave it to me. So inside the wallet, there was a snake, and he told me that his big python had given birth to the snake that was inside of that wallet. And in order for me to make money, if I wanted money, whenever I see that I was broke, I just take money, then I put it inside that wallet, and then I would find out that the money that I would have placed inside that wallet, and when I go and give it to the poor, that money will return to me double. That is what the healer told me. I took the wallet and I thanked him, and I returned back to work. I survived for many years doing that. Whenever I wanted money, I would just put the money inside that wallet, and I would go and donate the money to mainly homeless people. I used to target those people that would be standing at the robots looking for work, and I would give them the money. And when I would return back home, it's either on the same day or on the next morning, I will find out that the money will be there and it would have doubled. And that is how I used to survive. I made a mistake. I was feeling so good about myself on the day that I made a mistake. I was from church. That was when I saw Umulungu. This guy, he was looking so sad. He was by the traffic lights, and he was like, "Homeless, God bless you, please. If you have any spare change, I want to buy food." And I then gave him the money because of the feel-good feeling that I had from church. The pastor had told us about the goodness of giving money to the poor. But this man that I gave money to, I misjudged him. When they say do not judge the book by the cover, yes, they mean it. So I had money that I wanted to give to someone who stays in another informal settlement, which was 2K, that I wanted to donate to that person. But I just looked at that man, and then I gave him the money, which was 2K that I had in my wallet. I gave it to him, and he was surprised, and he was like, "Father in heaven, thank you for this angel. May you break every evil chain." And he was praying for me. So I just said, this is just a drug addict who is getting excited about the money that I have given to him. When I arrived home, then I saw the snake. It was really big. As I am speaking to you right now, this snake It is about 3 meters long, but at that time it had grown maybe about 1 meters, and it was so big as if it had swallowed a human being. This snake was angry at me. I only opened the front door, then I collapsed. Lucky enough, I stay alone. I collapsed, and when I woke up, this snake had finished sleeping with me. I quickly called that man who gave me the snake, and I told him that the snake had raped me, and he told me that this was the life that I was going to live from now going onwards. For this snake, it now was angry with me because I gave that man who prayed for the money. This man, whom I thought was a drug addict, is a good Christian man. God had answered his prayers when he said, I am supposed to be released from all the evil chains. And yes, indeed, God is in the process of releasing me, but I do not want God to release me. I am looking for another powerful traditional healer who can assist me so that he can negotiate with me on my behalf with the snake so that we can continue to live the same way that we used to live. I still want the snake, but I don't want to be a wife to the snake. The snake used to survive on chicken blood, but now it totally refuses. The painful part is that it rapes me whenever it feels like doing so. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to us by one of our admin. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. Let us talk about this issue in the comment section. If you have any confession that you wish to share with me, or any question that you wish to ask me, even on TikTok, you can just send me a message and then I'll share your messages with the rest of the world.